Michael Smith is one of Canada's best-known chefs, and he's also the host of the popular Food Network program Chef Michael's Kitchen and the author of 6 best-selling cookbooks. He's joining me here today from his home in Prince Edward Island to talk about his passion for food and wine. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Natalie.
I'm glad you could join me. Let's start with where did your passion for food and cooking start?
Well, it actually started as a means to an end. When I was in college, I sort of thought that I knew what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, so I gambled $20,000 of my parents' money and went to art school. And it turned out I was wrong. And while I was there, I got a job I got a new car and I had to pay for it. And that was the easiest thing to do, is just get a job cooking. So one thing led to another. Here I am 30 years later, cooking.
Well, good thing you had that loan to pay back.
Yeah.
And these days,
I guess the best way to answer the question, though, is that my love of food and wine, I think, came from my parents. From Sunday afternoon, sitting at the table, watching as friends would come from all over. There was always guests on Sunday afternoon, and the table was always set, and out would come the china and the crystal and the silver, and there was always an extra place for somebody, and there was always a glass of wine. And my brothers and I were allowed to try the wine. There was a little bit in our glasses as well. And I think that that's sort of where it all started, although at that time I had no idea I was going to end up being a chef.
Wow. And can you remember the first wine you tasted? Would you have been aware what that was?
Well, chances are it was a port, because my father was a minister, and there was altar wine around, and that altar wine tends to be a fortified wine. It tends to be a port wine. So I'm pretty sure that my first taste of wine was sneaking altar wine in the sacristy when my dad wasn't looking.
Holy smokes. Do you still have a taste for port?
I love port. I don't like church wine so much, though.
No, I think they're on the decline. I mean, the wines. But what do you drink for pleasure these days?
Well, we have a number of sort of things that we enjoy. We do drink quite a bit of wine around here. I'd say 2 or 3 nights a week a bottle will get opened. And we have what we call our house wine policy, which is that every other bottle has to be Canadian. So regardless of whether I'm at the liquor store buying wine for home for our cellar, or if we're out having dinner in a nice restaurant, we just try to stick to the idea that every other bottle that we buy is Canadian.
And why do you do that?
Well, for 2 reasons. One, because our wine is so darn good, but also because, as you know, I'm a big fan of all things Canadian, and I think that we support our wine industry, and I think it's important that we make a conscious choice to do so.
Okay, fair enough. And what have you seen change in the last, say, 5 years about Canadian wine, or even PEI wine specifically?
Well, PEI wine is one story. Canadian wine is another story. I mean, I don't think we're not kidding ourselves here on Prince Edward Island. We're not at the caliber of Niagara or the Okanagan or Prince Edward County or even the Annapolis Valley of Nova Scotia. We're just not at that level yet. We do have some interesting wine projects on the way here, but really I look to the Okanagan and to the Niagara and Prince Edward County regions, and Annapolis Valley. But I think what's changed is that Canadians are becoming more conscious of our wine industry and more conscious that we're making world-class wine. I think for a lot of years we've known that we make great white wines. We've done some really great things with Gewürztraminers and Rieslings over the years, and increasingly with Chardonnays, Sauvignon Blancs. But the reds have lagged a bit, and I would say in recent years that they've really picked up the pace, and we're now creating world-class reds, no question about it, in particular out in the Okanagan.
Oh, terrific. And just to wrap up this part of our chat, Michael, if you could share a glass of wine with anyone in history, living or dead, who would that be, and what would the wine be?
Oh gosh, I guess I'd love to sit down and have a glass of wine with a Scoffier, and it would have to be a grand old Bordeaux, I suppose.
And what would you be eating, or would you just be enjoying the wine?
Oh, no doubt we'd be enjoying some of his recipes, some of that classic French cooking.
Maybe you could bring the side dishes. All right, Michael, thank you for this part of our chat. We're going to be back with you soon, and we'll get into more about the wine that you've chosen for us to taste today, and pairings with seafood and so on. Thank you.
Thank you.